Yeah, I think this is exactly what I expected from Indiana. Felt like they would come out and be physical and be tough, play hard, be disciplined, and they punched us in the mouth. Would like to have seen a better response on our end, but we didn't see it. So I think the biggest area of growth for us is just our overall toughness, to be quite honest with you. And we got to figure some things out in terms of how we're gonna get there. But that will be, that will encompass a lot, right? That'll encompass our overall defense. It'll encompass our boxing out, our offensive board play, all the little details that we're not taking care of right now. So we'll get better. We'll get better because we have to. You can't keep doing what you're doing. You're gonna get the same result.
We'll go to Cora. First question, followed by Maria.
Kellie, could you kind of expand on that toughness piece? How, as a head coach, how do you kind of go about trying to inspire that or trying to build that within your team when that's, the areas you're getting beat in?
Well, I think, we have to demand something a little different in practice. I think sometimes you have to show it to them on film. And I think you have to define what that is, which we've done, we will continue to do. It's not about physical brute strength. It's about finding a way to make a successful play. And, there was a loose ball, and I did see 2 players on the floor. That was an improvement from our last game. So I think there are some little things that, we've got to make sure we're praising, and then there are some things that we have absolutely got to hold our team to a higher standard. And it starts in practice. Our practices have to be better.
Go next to Maria, followed by Chloe.
Coach, when you cut that 16-point deficit to 4, it just seemed like, I don't know if players got anxious, got antsy, just started trying maybe to do too much. What sort of happened there when you got to 4 and then Indiana went right back out?
Yeah, we had two miscues on out of bounds plays. And I think one was an offensive foul, one was a turnover, and they scored. They capitalized on both of those. In those moments, that's toughness, right? That's where you've got to be strong enough to make a play, or strong enough to get it back on the other end, and understand the urgency that you have to have in that moment. And you can't lose your momentum at that point. So, that's had some. We'll definitely be looking at that one, because those plays were critical.
Chloe and then Cora.
Talking about toughness, how important is it for you all to play these tough ranked teams so early in the season rather than later?
Well, I'll tell you what, I just don't know. I still think, I don't know how I'll think in January, right, or February. I still think that the best thing for this team is to play teams that are going to punch them in the mouth. I really think that's the best thing for us. I would rather win, but I don't want any false a false idea of who we are. I know exactly who we are, and I know exactly where we need to go. And it's on us. We'll get them there.
Cora.
Tamari Key ended up with 14 points, but really in that first half struggled to get her touches, especially against that zone. Is that on everybody, or how do you get her more touches throughout the game?
Yeah, I think it's on. I think it's on her for positioning and getting down the floor quicker. But it's also on us to be able to see her. And then it's on the coaches to be able to continue to put her in position to be able to get touches. I thought we missed her a few times, and then there were a few times that she wasn't where she needed to be. So we'll work through that. We need to get the ball inside. I think touches in the paint that's important. It's one of the keys I wrote on the board. We had to get paint touches.
This is a team that prides itself on rebounding, but it's the second game it's been out-rebounded, so what's leading to those results?
Well, this is not anything new. I've been saying this all fall, that we look different on the boards, and we're not doing anything differently. We're still practicing that. So it right now is a mentality. It's an attitude. It's a mindset. Right now, we're not disciplined enough on on the defensive end to get box outs. They hit 4 threes on offensive board in the first half. You're putting yourself in a hole.
We've got Reese in the back row.
Kelly, what's an ideal rotation? Because I know you went 11 deep. Is that the plan moving forward?
Yeah, we've got to reevaluate that, reassess that, and that's where we've got to have some players step up and practice and give us maybe a little bit more of what we're looking for, so that we can reassess and kind of figure out where we're going to go minutes wise and with our rotation. So I think that's something we've got to look at and find a better solution.
We're right here in the front row.
Kelly, I know you're very complimentary of Indiana in your opening statement there, but I want to know if you've seen that team. How good are they?
Well, I think, first off, just knowing where they were last year. They were tough and physical, and where I think they can go this year, how they're different. They've surrounded Holmes with more three-point shooters. There's no doubt about it. It's going to give their offense a boost, in my opinion. We did not play them last year. We played them 2 years ago. But I think that makes them more difficult to guard. And, there were times that I wanted to try to help down on the post, and there was nobody to help off of. So I think that's going to be a huge plus for them moving forward, because they're going to defend. They're tough and they're going to defend. So they've really boosted their offense, in my opinion.
Cora, and then Maria.
Jasmine Powell went 16 and 10 tonight for assists, and it felt like when you guys needed something to happen offensively, she made something happen. How can, I guess, she get that sort of playmaking toughness, doing what needs to be done mentality to the other team, the rest of the team?
Yeah, I think, she's not going to be overly vocal. She's just steady. I think it's going to be by example. She's typically the kid just does what needs to be done in that moment. To me, the way she plays with great confidence, and I think that can bleed over to her teammates at times. So, as a former point guard, I'm just trying to help her find ways to help her teammates.
Maria.
Coach, you sound a bit more frustrated with this game than you were in the first two, and you get ready to take your team to a paradise here. What do you hope to accomplish between now and when you arrive in the Bahamas? Well,
the only place things are going to get corrected is on the court at practice, and we practice tomorrow. So I am really excited about that opportunity. Then we'll be off on Wednesday. At that point, it'll be much needed, I'm sure. And then, we'll practice actually before we leave. So I think that's where you right the ship. That's where you get things corrected. So I'm excited about that. And we got, film sessions and, making sure our players are comfortable with what we're doing, not just in practice, but when we get out on the court. We've got to get them through some things. So, 2 practices and an off day before we travel, and that should be good.
Cora, and then Casey.
Kind of going back to that toughness piece, that was not an issue for last year's team early on at all. And you returned some players to that team. I know, you lost a few of them, but, is this mentality piece, I guess, kind of a symptom of all the newcomers and gelling so many players together?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly. I think we've got enough returners that should be there. So, I think that's where we, like I said earlier, got to do some things differently, or we're going to keep getting the same results. So, at the end of the day, don't know why, doesn't matter why, it just is. And so we're there, and we got to correct it.
Coach, I know you mentioned starting out this season with such a tough schedule. Does it worry you at all about the morale or confidence starting out the season with 2 losses? And if so, how do you build that back up going into Bahamas?
Yeah, it does. It worries me a little bit about just not necessarily confidence, but morale maybe a little bit. But at the same time, to me, you get your back against the wall a little bit. You got to come out swinging. You got to have some fight. That's what I want to see. And, that's the competitiveness that we need to see right now. So I think they'll step out there confidently, but you got to make things go your way at some point. That's what we got to do.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you guys.